I mean, it could happen. I mean, why not? If Crawford wanna challenge himself to be great, let him try to be great. So you know what I'm saying. I'm with it. So I'll be going for Bud.
I can retire right now and be in the Hall of Fame. He couldn't. Like everything that I've accomplished, he's still trying to accomplish.
Do you not think Spence will be in the Hall of Fame?
Right now? No, how?
Yeah, he's right, dude. He's right.
How? He fought in one division.
Never unified the belts.
He unified.
He did unify.
IBF.
After a long period of silence, Errol Spence Jr. has finally called for a rematch with Terence Crawford following Crawford's recent comments in which he labeled Spence a substandard fighter. And while many believe the timing for a rematch may have passed, Spence has decided to take his chance and publicly challenge the two-time undisputed champion after what he views as repeated moments of disrespect coming from Crawford.
I would never want to fight him coming off an accident like that, because when I beat him, then y'all gonna say it was because of the accident. He fight. He beat Danny Garcia. I was in the crowd. I said, nah, he can't beat me. That's the first time I seen Spence fight live. I said.
So you knew then when you seen that?
I'm like, yeah, because it's different on TV than when you watching it up close in person.
Fight.
He did unify.
IBF. He unified.
Was it?
He had three. He had the WBC,
but he didn't unify all
WBA,
four. He wasn't
IBF.
undisputed.
Huh?
He wasn't undisputed.
He wasn't. No, but what I'm saying is, they already called him a weight bully, right? He beat Kell Brook coming off of a loss, an eye injury. He beat Sean Porter.
In all fairness, he had to go over there to get that.
Their first fight ended disastrously for Errol Spence Jr., and it is widely seen as a major reason why his stock dropped so sharply, with a one-sided and embarrassing performance becoming a moment many believe will never be forgotten, as a result of which much of the boxing community has come to define Spence largely by his loss to Terence Crawford, and in response to that lasting narrative. Spence called for a rematch on social media after reacting to a clip of Crawford being interviewed and asked whether Errol Spence was worthy of induction into the International Boxing Hall of Fame.
Along my career, I've been criticized and people have taken credit away from me just to try to diminish my accomplishments just off of pure hate. So what would they be able to say with me going up 2 weight classes?
People say, oh, well, maybe it was the weight or whatever the case is. What do you think about that? Like, talking about the weight at 154?
Well, I wasn't worried about that. I felt stronger than him. I felt that I punched harder than him. I felt as if I hurt him many of times.
Of course, Terence Crawford felt otherwise, openly claiming that Errol Spence Jr. would not be a Hall of Famer if he were to retire right now. And that statement is exactly what triggered Spence to come at him hard on social media, as the level of disrespect between the two continues to escalate to a crazy point, making many fans feel that the only real way to settle this ongoing tension and silence the talk is for them to run the fight back in a long-awaited rematch.
I hold his head up, it's a learning experience. You just bounce back from it. It's about how you come back and how you show people that, that happened young in your career. And some of you
said, that's a good win. Like, I don't want to sound like I'm hating on him or,
I understand
things like that, but I honestly don't know if he make it to the Hall of Fame.
Of course, this situation has clearly struck a nerve with Errol Spence Jr., whose last appearance in the boxing world came while promoting a fight involving one of the boxers signed to his promotional company in a bout contested for the World Boxing Association lightweight title, as Spence himself has not returned to competitive action since his 2023 loss to Terence Crawford, a matchup that was widely viewed as evenly balanced going in but ultimately turned into a dominant performance by Crawford, who handed Spence the first defeat of his professional career, leaving Spence with a record of 28 wins, 1 loss, and 22 knockouts.
In the fight, but I just felt like, he came prepared and he was ready and he fought a good fight. He was awkward. He was patient. He was He was determined, he stuck to his game plan, and he did what he had to do.
Errol Spence Jr. has now revealed on social media that the worst thing he has done as an athlete was drinking, sharing a reflective message in which he advised other athletes to stay focused on the end goal for the sake of themselves and their loved ones. A post that also drew a reaction from Gervonta Davis, who is set to fight Lamont Roach Jr., and while Spence has enjoyed a stellar career overall aside from his loss to Terence Crawford, his last performance sparked a surge in criticism from fans who began suggesting that he may no longer be the same fighter, which prompted Spence to fire back on X, formerly Twitter, with a sharp response telling critics they use the word washed too loosely and challenging them to understand what it really means.
A lot of people say, oh, well, he's money hungry, he's looking at money and he's trying to cash out and this and that. I've been getting money for years. I've been getting millions for years. Yeah. And I'm not stupid with my money. Right. As you can see, I don't buy no Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and you know what I mean, walk around with 100 people around me and I got all this jewelry that I bought. Like
Errol Spence Jr. was the unified welterweight champion prior to his loss to Terence Crawford, holding the WBA, WBC, and IBF titles during his reign from 2017 to 2023, and although he has not fought in nearly 2 years, Spence is still only 34 years old, leading many fans to expect a big-name opponent when he finally returns to the ring. While meanwhile, two-division undisputed champion Crawford has stirred controversy following recent comments about his former rival, as their 2023 showdown saw Crawford deliver a dominant and one-sided performance against Spence, and since that defeat, Spence has yet to stage a comeback despite having the option to trigger an immediate rematch clause, which he ultimately chose not to pursue.
He got caught. He should have boxed a little more, but things happen. You gotta learn from it.
Definitely, it was exciting. I hope build up to it and leading up to it too. So it's something that I wouldn't change for nothing, and I'm definitely open to the rematch, and hopefully it'll be it.
More recently, Errol Spence Jr. was in talks to face WBC and WBO super welterweight champion Sebastian Fundora, but the bout never materialized after multiple delays, fueling speculation that Spence might never return to the ring, while in contrast Terence Crawford has continued to rise, with a Nebraskan now scheduled to face Canelo Alvarez in a mega fight this September. And ahead of that showdown, Crawford appeared on the 4 Pound Pound podcast with Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo, where he controversially claimed that Spence does not deserve a place in the Boxing Hall of Fame, arguing that Spence lacks the level of substantial achievements in the sport compared to his own resume. Terence Crawford stirred major controversy after stating on a podcast that he could retire immediately and still make the Boxing Hall of Fame, while claiming Errol Spence Jr. could not, arguing that despite Spence's accomplishments he is still chasing milestones Crawford has already achieved, pointing out that Spence competed in one division, unified 3 belts, and was labeled a weight bully, while also downplaying wins such as Kell Brook coming off a loss and eye injury and acknowledging the Sean Porter victory but insisting it was not enough, although Crawford maintained he was not hating and genuinely questioned Spence's Hall of Fame case, a view that sparked strong disagreement from fans and experts including veteran trainer Kevin Cunningham, who responded that Spence has done enough to eventually earn Hall of Fame induction as a 3-belt unified welterweight champion and top pound-for-pound fighter, a sentiment echoed by Erickson Lubin, who despite recognizing Crawford's decorated resume featuring titles in 4 weight classes and undisputed championships in 2 divisions, questioned the overall quality of Crawford's opposition while crediting him for successfully moving up in weight and stopping opponents, ultimately leaving Crawford once again at the center of debate within the boxing world.
If he fight Canelo, I'll be going for him. I mean, I don't know if he's gonna win or lose, but I definitely be going for Crawford. I think if anybody can pull it off, he can pull it off. He's chasing greatness, so why not? Canelo came up to 175 and all that, and fought Kovalev and fought the other guy too. So I mean, if he can do it, he started at 147. So I mean, if he's doing it.
Terence Crawford delivered a stunning one-sided beatdown of Errol Spence Jr. in their long-awaited unification clash, becoming the first undisputed welterweight champion in nearly 40 years and solidifying his case as the world's best pound-for-pound fighter. Crawford dropped Spence in round 2 and twice more in the 7th before referee Harvey Dock stopped the fight at 2:32 of the 9th round. Few among the sold-out crowd of 19,990 at T-Mobile Arena would have complained if it had ended sooner. Built over 5 years as the best fight boxing could offer, the bout was competitive only in the opening round before turning into a masterclass. The 35-year-old Nebraskan showcased extraordinary power, precision, and ring control, making an elite, unbeaten opponent look overmatched and stamping his name into boxing history. Terence Crawford, a former champion at 135 and 140 pounds who entered Saturday's eagerly anticipated showdown as a slight favorite, became the first fighter to hold all recognized world titles at welterweight since 1986, when Lloyd Honeyghan upset Donald Curry at Caesars Atlantic City to capture the WBA, WBC, and IBF belts, achieving this milestone at the expense of Errol Spence Jr., a 2012 U.S. Olympian from the Dallas suburb of DeSoto, whose measured, come-forward approach relying on pressure and a methodical southpaw jab was ultimately no match for Crawford's dynamic switch-hitting style and flawless counterpunching.
All right, come Saturday, man, you gotta calm down, brother. Cause listen, man, things can get real sticky real quick, and then everybody would say, this is what we do every time we come out. This is what we do when we come out.
Terence Crawford knocked down Errol Spence Jr. for the first time in 29 professional fights during the second round of Saturday's welterweight title unification bout, reflecting on his journey by saying, "I only dreamed of being a world champion. I'm an overachiever. Nobody believed in me when I was coming up, but I made everybody a believer. I want to thank Spence and his team because without him, none of this would have been possible," as Spence started the fight as the busier fighter, using his jab to measure distance and attacking Crawford's midsection while employing deft footwork and body shots to push Crawford back, but after overextending with a right hand to the body that missed, Crawford capitalized with a perfectly timed counter that sent Spence to the canvas for the first time in his career, and from that point onward, the momentum only favored Crawford, as Spence entered the third round attempting to show resilience with aggressive exchanges that Crawford parried effortlessly, and by the fourth round, Spence was cut over his right eye and exposed in hand speed, while Crawford operated with clinical precision, turning his jab into a power weapon and landing shot after shot as Spence walked into a relentless barrage.
Through another.
Got the confidence to come out there and just be like, okay, well, even the skills to say, all right, let me see how you gonna take a punch to the chin. Let me see how you gonna take a punch to the body. Let me see how you gonna react when you can't bully somebody around.
Good, I just said the dog.
Okay, so my mind was, you know what I mean, you know, it was racing a little bit. And I was like, man, how should I come out? And it was like, man, just come out boxing. Oh, listen, just like you talking, just like you doing all that talking, bro, it can turn deadly real quick, but on both sides. So why not support, listen, why not support your fighter?
Errol Spence Jr. admitted that Terence Crawford's jab was perfectly timed, saying his speed and accuracy were exactly as expected, and as the fight progressed, Crawford continued to punish his tiring opponent throughout the 5th and 6th rounds, leaving Spence's face bloodied and swollen, before dropping him a second time under a combination early in the 7th and again from a pinpoint right hook in the final seconds of that round, after which it became only a matter of time as the Omaha southpaw, known for his ruthless finishing ability, relentlessly attacked until Spence was defenseless on rubbery legs in the 9th, prompting the referee to stop the fight after Crawford landed 9 uncontested blows, with Crawford later remarking that it was a good stoppage, noting he was on the verge of landing more hard shots but that the referee acted appropriately to protect his opponent.
Got nothing wrong with that. Support your fighter. Y'all support y'all fighter. Let's come together, make this event a success, instead of everybody saying every time we get together, you know what I mean, it's always shooting them.
Punch statistics highlighted Terence Crawford's overwhelming dominance, as he landed an impressive 185 of 369 total punches, 50.1%, including 98 of 163 power shots, 60.1%, while Errol Spence Jr. managed only 96 of 480 punches, 20%, including a mere 33 of 296 jabs, 11.1%, historically his most effective weapon, with Spence admitting, "We were worried about the jab coming in because that's how he sets up all of his shots," and acknowledging Crawford's superiority, saying, "Our main focus was the jab. You take away his best attribute, the rest is history," adding that it was his first defeat since losing to Russia's Andrei Zamayatin in the 69 kilograms quarterfinals at the London Olympics over a decade ago, and conceding, "He was just better tonight. He was using the jab. My timing was a little bit off." He was just the better man tonight.
Big question was, is he gonna come out orthodox? Is he gonna come out southpaw? I'm tripping because I was talking to one of your guys after the fight in the locker room, and he said, before y'all came out to fight, you looked at him and you looked at Shakur and you said, hey, what y'all think I should do?
Yeah, because in my mind, I want to fight. I want to fight. But given the circumstances that he haven't had nobody that's, you know what I mean,
The contract for Saturday's fight included a two-way rematch clause that allows the loser to request a second fight within 30 days, with the winner deciding whether it will be at 147 or 154 pounds. Errol Spence Jr.
Like he should. He didn't do the things that his daddy told him to do. What are you talking about? Even his daddy said it. Even his daddy said it.
You butthurt that I got the
Even his daddy said it.
You butthurt.
Even Kell Brook, he was already broken.
So was he broken when you fought?
No, he wasn't broken.
How come
I broke the other eye.
He came off
I broke the other eye. Yeah, that's how I got broke. That's how I got broke.
The two fighters faced off in one of the most memorable bouts in recent boxing history at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas in July 2023. Errol Spence Jr. entered the ring as the WBA, WBC, and IBF welterweight champion with a record of 28-0, while Terence Crawford held the WBO welterweight title with a record of 39-0. The fight was hyped as a clash of equals, but it quickly turned one-sided as Crawford delivered a dominant ninth-round stoppage to become the undisputed welterweight champion, cementing his status among the pound-for-pound elite. After the fight, a visibly stunned Spence admitted during the post-fight press conference how powerful Crawford's punches were, summing it up in just 4 words: stop it.
What does it matter?
He came off a stoppage and then he fought you
What does it matter?
months prior.
What does it matter?
So was he broken or not?
No, he wasn't broken. No, he wasn't broken.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
What are you talking about? I had the same surgery he had, and what happened? So what they say about you then, you fight me then.
I'm gonna break that.
So
he's a strong fighter. Errol Spence Jr. explained why he felt Terence Crawford was able to dominate so convincingly, saying he got a feel for Crawford's power probably as early as the second round, noting that while everyone at the top level has some power, his timing was off and Crawford was catching him between shots. Spence has not returned to the ring since his loss to Crawford, but has been linked to a move up to super welterweight to challenge WBO and WBC champion Sebastian Fender. Terence Crawford, meanwhile, is still eager for a fight with unified super middleweight champion Canelo Alvarez, and one fighter who has sparred with both men has shared his prediction for that potential matchup.
Said if this Canelo fight, you know, if you're able to be successful and victorious, like, how important is it for you to be able to rank yourself amongst all the top guys that ever did this thing?
It'd be great. You know, that's why you take the chance. You know, this is by far the biggest opportunity, but the biggest risk that I ever took in my career.
Yeah.
You know, and I understand what's at stake, and I understand the level of competition that I'm up against, and I'll be like, man, come on, man.
Yeah.
So every time he say that, you know, I just be like gradually getting into like looking at it, like okay. And he's not that big. You know, he heavy, but he not that big.
Right.
You know, and I'm just like, all right. I'm laughing, but at the same time it started hitting me like, oh.
After months of speculation in the first half of 2024 that the two pound-for-pound stars could face each other, talk seemed to fade as the year went on, leaving boxing fans unsure if the matchup would happen. Recently, however, rumors have resurfaced that the fight could be back on the table. With both Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford searching for opponents for next year, the potential bout would see WBA super welterweight champion Crawford move up 2 weight classes to challenge the reigning unified super middleweight champion Canelo Alvarez. It is still unclear whether Terence Crawford would be interested in a rematch with Errol Spence Jr. after facing Canelo Alvarez.
Canelo become undisputed again, and I beat Canelo. What could they say? They'll say something, but what
yeah, they're gonna find something, you know that.
But what can they really say?
Right.
You know? So that's the legacy fight right there for me. I'm not looking at, a lot of people say, oh, well, he's money hungry, I'm up against, and that would make it great.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what all the great fighters will want, because it's a high risk, high reward type of fight. You come out on top. Look at everything that's gonna happen after that. You one of the top 5 fighters in the world ever, probably.
That's what I was gonna ask you. Where you rank it? Because I put that on Twitter. I said if you beat.
Right now, the only fight on Terence Crawford's mind is the bout with Canelo Alvarez, and he has publicly stated on several occasions that he might have retired if that fight hadn't materialized. He waited a long time for Errol Spence Jr. to trigger the rematch clause, only to reach a point where he could wait no longer. For Spence, a more realistic path would be to move up to the super welterweight division and face one of the contenders there as a tune-up before aiming for another world championship match. For the latest news, highlights, events, and updates in the world of boxing, stay connected by subscribing to the YouTube channel and turning on notifications to catch content like this as soon as it drops.